So Virginia ABC is the Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority in the state, and they have a special branch for education. So they have lots of different publications and programs that coalitions can utilize. And they have this annual grant where they work with groups to collaborate and build capacity to really talk about alcohol safety and responsibility. So they award up to $10,000 to groups, and each grant must address at least one of the following priorities: underage drinking prevention, social hosting prevention, or high-risk drinking prevention. So we focused, because our focus is on youth, we focused on underage drinking prevention and social host prevention. So if a parent is throwing a party, really encouraging them not to provide alcohol to persons under 21 and talking about the legal and the health and social consequences related to that. So last year when we had the grant, we were able to fund a series of short PSA videos to the theme of I Don't Drink Because. So we worked with our local high school and the TV production program there and had students share short vignettes of I don't drink because I want to focus on my future. I don't drink because it's against my family values. I want to focus on my health. And so that was a great project that came out of this funding.
I don't drink because I want to be healthy now and a doctor in the future.
I don't need alcohol to make my own decisions.
The reason why I don't drink is because it's against my and my family's values, and it is illegal until you're over the age of 21.
SAPCA shares our local data when we're talking about prevention. So we say, hey, did you know that most teens in Alexandria are not using alcohol? I'm trying to get behind and highlight that data of most of your peers aren't using this substance. That's a great way for you to fit in to kind of do what everyone else is doing. And so we created a series of videos, first with vaping, having students say, I don't vape because, it affects my health, or I don't vape because, it's expensive. And then with this Virginia ABC grant funding, we were able to do kind of a follow-up on that with the I Don't Drink Because video series. And so we had a press release go out that promoted the videos, and they also went out on social media over the course of a couple of weeks, and we were encouraging people to share the videos with a reason why they don't drink, saying listen to these Alexandria teens talk about why they don't use alcohol, and share your own reasons for not using alcohol to really continue that message. We also premiered some of the videos during a community meeting that we had in December. I guess it would have been December 2020. So we had a town hall about coping. We had someone from the local government come in and talk about how to cope with stress, and then we premiered the videos at that meeting. So that was really exciting to be able to share the work of those teams, and some of the teams that helped with the filming and the production were on that Zoom call. So we were able to recognize them and say, hey, thank you guys so much for this work and for supporting the creation of this project. So for this year's grant, it has a couple of buckets. It's Project Sticker Shock, which I'll talk about in a minute, community education and outreach, substance-free activities for youth, and then encouraging parents and caring adults to build developmental assets in youth. And so, in terms of building assets, that's something that our coalition and our partners really focus on, how adults can, parents and just other caring adults can build assets in young people, kind of the building blocks for healthy development. And so we work with our partners to share brochures from the Search Institute. And there are these really cool kind of accordion style brochures in English and Spanish, and we'll share them at outreach events or at seminars we have with youth and parents. And so really encouraging that positive of, hey, here's how you can, show support, empower your teens, create boundaries and expectations. And people love having that conversation because it's positive and it's appropriate for any age. We also had our annual Youth Leadership Conference this August. So that's something that we collaborate with the Alexandria Campaign on Adolescent Pregnancy and the Alexandria Libraries and the Alexandria Sexual Assault Center. And it's a great way for youth to come together, talk to each other, kind of meet each other, build those leadership skills. And then on the last day of the conference, we bring in community leaders from organizations throughout the city to network with the youth and talk about opportunities for youth to get involved. And so you have this activity for youth to, build their leadership skills and then learn about opportunities to get involved. And so it's promoting, that involvement in activities that are positive, and it gives youth a voice in the community, and it connects them with these caring adults from these different organizations. And we had over 30 adults attending that networking session this year and talking about internship opportunities, talking about volunteer opportunities, talking about ways for these youth to get involved in the community. And we found that having those workshops led by youth really increases the engagement. And it's a great way to show, this could be you next year. We had several youth reach out and say, how can I want to present at next year's conference, like how do I get involved? And so showing, really showing that, you're today's leaders and you can do this. You can present a topic to your peers and have this great conversation about mental health, about how to advocate. So so the grant has supported, safe and substance-free activities, one of which is the conference, since it's, bringing you together in a safe space, and in this case, a virtual one, and really focused on building those leadership skills to connect them with these safe, substance-free opportunities to get civically engaged. And then another way that we are planning to kind of offer that in a different way this spring is teen nights. And so we've in the past held these Titan Takeover teen nights where teens, can come to a rec center on a Friday night. We have food, we have games, we have a DJ, we have raffle prizes, and it's just bringing teens together just to have fun, to hang out, because we have heard our youth say, hey, there's nothing for me to do on a Friday night. And so providing that safe, substance-free space that's fun, where we can also share information about our coalitions and invite other organizations to come in and table. We had about, HIV testing or resources in the community or opportunities to get involved at those events. We do hold them in different locations. We try to say we'll have, the fall event on the east end of the city and then the spring event on the west end. And it ranges from 30, 40, 50 kids to almost 100 at a couple of our events. In terms of the application process, a big part of that is your partnership letters. So showing that you are it's not just your organization, showing that collaboration and showing that, you're leveraging other funds. And that comes from, other grant funds from our coalition, but also those partnerships of, hey, we're going to cover dinner for this teen night, and then this other organization that we're partnering with is going to cover dinner for the other one. And so showing that you have those partnerships, showing that you're communicating with those other organizations, because part of that, if you haven't talked about it, the work, it's harder to have the work happen if there's not that buy-in and that shared kind of working together. And so things like Project Sticker Shock, where I mentioned teens go out into the community and place stickers on multi-packs of alcohol. That's something that we've done for years, and we have those relationships and kind of the conversation of, hey, we're doing this event. Are you able to send a representative from the police department and the sheriff's department to help, drive the youth? And are we able to have the sheriff and the police chief talk at the press conference? And, having those conversations and keeping the conversation going, and also saying, how else can we support your work? Can we do an event? Can we do a teen night at your rec center? Can we distribute this information to parents at this school event? We've also used the grant funds for Project Sticker Shock. So that's a really cool program where we work with law enforcement and youth and our high school, and students actually go out to different stores that sell alcohol in our in our city and place stickers on multi-packs of alcoholic beverages, reminding adults of the legal consequences of purchasing alcohol legally and then providing it to a minor. So it's a great way to just raise awareness, because some people don't know. And we get to recognize the businesses for participating, saying, hey, thank you for being part of this project. Thank you for helping to promote that social norm of, we're not going to tolerate adults that provide alcohol to minors. We're not going to tolerate businesses that let that happen. And our youth are the ones that are leading that message, that are saying, hey, we don't want this. We don't want youth to be able to access alcohol. You know, unfortunately, we're not able to have it this fall for safety reasons, but youth love sticker shock, and it's just a great way for youth to come together and send that positive message of, you know, we're not going to tolerate this in our community. And it's a hands-on way for them to be in the community and for them to talk to the business owners and talk to each other about this topic of preventing youth access to alcohol. And especially when youth are visiting stores in their own communities, it's store clerks that they see and they know. And so having that message come from youth, I think, is really impactful and powerful. I think biggest lessons learned, and it's something that we've all kind of learned through the past year and a half, is being flexible and being able to think outside of the box with, you know, the cancellation of in-person events. We have had to get creative, and sometimes that has involved, you know, sending things through Amazon. So we had a couple of workshops last year. We had a couple of youth leadership workshops, and we would send the participants a leadership journal, you know, after the workshops through Amazon, or send youth. So we had a virtual teen night last spring, and we sent youth that participated a board game to continue, you know, those activities at home after the teen night. And so just getting creative, I just think something that we can all relate to is things don't always go as planned. And just talking to your partners and talking to the people that you're serving, in this case youth, about what would be beneficial. How can we, you know, help you? And just getting creative with it, and, you know, just being able to deviate from the plan and do something differently to still try to meet those needs. You know, speaking about pivoting, our city council recently passed a plastic bag tax. And so in preparation for that, we're going to be ordering reusable grocery bag totes with, you know, the coalition website logo, and encouraging people to visit our website, and then also putting some brochures in the pocket of that bag. So kind of responding to what we foresee a need being, and you know, giving people something that they can use, you know, in their everyday, in their shopping, and pushing out the coalition with that. So that's something that we're excited about, and I think it just speaks to kind of pivoting to what's happening in your community. Something else that we really focus on is messaging, and so that's a mix of social media, email newsletters, and newspaper ads to really promote those messages with parents and with youth. And so one message that we've really been promoting this fall is, especially with homecoming just happening, reminding parents, you know, not to provide alcohol to teenagers. And so promoting that message, especially during those seasonal periods where we may see increases in that activity. So homecoming, prom in the spring, during the holidays, just reminding parents, you know, hey, we really need you to have these conversations with your youth, and talk about it with other parents. You know, please have the conversations about, you know, it's illegal to provide alcohol to minors, and have that conversation with your children and other parents.